we are back at Mel Hamilton to pick up my truck, and I'm excited to have it back. It's only been 2 days, and I thought it could have been weeks, months, so you know, we're way ahead of my expectations here, picking it up just a day later. So here we go. On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we are back with my 2022 Ford F-250 that was $103,000, and Ford has given it back to me and said, nothing's wrong with it. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and today, like I said, we are back with my F-250 that we just talked about being broken and possibly needing an engine, or really any number of things, right? Anything could have been causing that noise. But the dealership gave it back to me and said, nothing's wrong. So that is where we are today, and right now I tend to agree with them. Now, a lot of important things happened along the road, but I'm going to tell you guys everything that went on. So we have here the invoice from Mel Hamilton. So shout out to them for getting it turned around in like 2 days, which wasn't bad at all. But they said ticking sound from the engine bay, engine needs to be up to temp, no warning lights or messages on the dash. That was complaint A. Complaint B, customer heard a pop from driver massage seat and now it does not work. C and A, I don't know, what's C and A? Cause and effect. Item C was a diesel multi-point inspection. And under the inspection, there's a couple notes, and then D was replace batteries. Now we'll get into the batteries here in a second. I do think I talked about them at the end of the last video. I mentioned that they had found all the corrosion on top of the batteries, which is just something Super Duties do. They always have. And I talked to them about that and said, just give me the brackets and I'll put batteries in it. So we'll talk about that in a second. And I think that's everything on the to-do list here. All right, check charging system, removed old battery, cleaned cable ends, and installed new battery. That's not it though. It gets better than that, guys. I was more than happy to put batteries in the truck if it needed it, and it didn't. The batteries were doing very, very well, but they were covered in, the brackets were covered in corrosion. And like I said, they always are. And I was like, just give me those brackets. You know, we went and looked them up. They're $14 retail, which makes them $7 wholesale. Or dealer cost is probably even less, probably $4 per piece of stamped metal. And I was like, just give me those. I'll take care of the rest. Ford took care of it and put brand new batteries in. I haven't even looked. Let's look. Pop the hood here real quick. Look at that! It's got brand new batteries with some anti-corrosion spray on there. So shout out to them for taking care of that completely. The brackets are of course new. The old ones had all that corrosion that is just something, I don't know. I mean, AGM batteries fix this, but I get it. They don't want to be putting AGMs in this. So they just put two old school lead acid batteries in there and they let them eat, and it works, and it was starting just fine. So I wasn't worried about it. So, but shout out to them for taking care of that. This isn't on right anymore. Something's going on with that sock there. I don't know, maybe it was like that, but doesn't look right. And this battery's new too. Let's put the little things back on. You gotta have them all covered up and nice and pretty. Shout out to them for cleaning all that up and putting that anti-corrosion spray on there. It looks really nice. And I am very happy to have two new batteries right before we lose the bumper-to-bumper warranty. And speaking of warranties, I have to update what I had said about the warranty on this. What it has is a 3-year, 36,000 mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. And since it's within that, that's probably why they took care of those batteries. And I thought that was literally the entire warranty on the engine, and I was just waiting on it to grenade itself when that one expired. But it turns out it actually has a 5-year, 60,000 mile on the powertrain. So when I talked to the dealer, they were like, we better get this in quick before your warranty's gone. And in my head, I was like, oh yeah, the warranty is gone. And I have heard of people fighting tooth and nail to have CP4 problems solved when they grenade after that bumper to bumper is gone. So if it was the fuel pump like I thought it might be, I could have been in trouble if the bumper to bumper was gone, and could still be in trouble if the bumper to bumper is gone. But we're gonna hope that if something ever happens to this engine, they'll take care of that. And there is actually in the warranty under it, there's like 10 different parts of the warranty on this thing. But I think nearly the very last one is a 5-year, 100,000 mile engine warranty. So if you put way more miles on the powertrain, you will be taken care of on that, hopefully. So the warranty situation is much better than I thought, and the urgency is much less than I thought, especially after, you know, we had talked back and forth about it. I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be completely out of warranty. It's not. we're doing fine. So I'm a little less worried about it, and I think they should come with a pretty strong warranty for the amount of money they charge for these things. Or maybe as your trim level goes up, the warranty should go up too. We'll get back to work in just a second, but first I need to take a second to tell you about Carly. Carly is a pocket-sized OBD2 reader that connects to your Android or iOS device so you can figure out what's going on with your car anywhere you are. And it can do so much more than just clearing that pesky check engine light, which personally I think that fixes your car, but the internet seems to disagree with me. This will let you do pre-purchase inspections where you can compare cluster indications of mileage to the ECU and other computers in the car just to make sure no one's tampered with the mileage or swapped the cluster to try to sell you a car with way more miles on it than the cluster is reporting. And you can do so much more with this as well. You can reset maintenance indicators, which is what we're going to do today on my sister's new Lexus, and you can even code many German vehicles, including BMW, Audi, and Mercedes. Instead of going to Diag like I normally would, we're going to go down to maintenance, hit continue on the service and maintenance screen here, and let's go down to oil service. So put the date in as today's date, check service details, and reset service. So it's actually going to tell me how to reset it manually, or if we go down to get started with service, we can scroll down and see a full walkthrough on how to change the oil on the Lexus. And just like that, we have no messages on the dash. And if you want to pick up a Carly today so you can Diag or do used car checks, or really just have a powerful car diagnostic tool in your pocket, hit the link in the description below or head on over to mycarly.com today. They've got a special offer if you use my link for WatchJRGo subscribers. Huge thank you to Carly for sponsoring today's video and being a continued supporter of automotive creators like me. So then they tested the massage seat. It says that they checked for DTCs. There were no DTCs on the seat's computer, and obviously there wasn't. There's probably not a great way for it to know that it's leaking all of its air out. It doesn't need that much feedback, and I'm glad it doesn't have that much feedback. Otherwise, we'd have just random codes for all kinds of stuff. But then it says they removed the seat back and found ruptured upper bladder, replaced seat back massage panel, restored, and retest pass. So basically, they ordered the part, it got a whole new bladder, took the back of the seat off, replaced everything, and it even looks like they might have replaced the back of the seat, which is pretty wild. But now the massage is working perfectly. I checked it out on the way home and we're good to go there. Of course, Ford had one other recommendation, and that was changing the cabin air filter. And it is the one thing I haven't changed. I'll give them credit. Everything else I maintenance religiously on this truck, but I have not changed the cabin air filter. So we're gonna run to O'Reilly's and buy one right now and get that changed, because I just didn't want to pay anyone else to change it. They're cheap, let's be honest. Cheap and easy. And we are here at O'Reilly's to get this cabin air filter, and guess who's here? Taking Riley to O'Reilly's. Let's go. We're gonna solve the only problem that's left. What's going on, man?
What's up, man?
All right, guys, thank you.
Yep, catch you later.
I was gonna give you the fist bump there. Leave me hanging.
You confuse me every time with that fist bump.
All right, thanks, guys.
Have a
Have
good one.
a good one. All right, we have the upgrade. I actually don't know if the Ford filter is a carbon charcoal filter. Activated carbon or something like that. So hopefully this one is even better. So we open up the upper glove box, pull this little guy out of here. We've got 2 screws right there. We'll set that aside somewhere where it won't scratch the leather. Pull these 2, I think they're 7s, and I actually have to turn my airbag back on now. We had the airbag turned off because after Eric's heart surgery, he was told he couldn't drive or be in the front seat of a car that had airbags on. So I reached over with the key, turned off this airbag so he could ride in the truck. Problem solved. So now it's back on, and let me grab this 7 and we'll get this finished up. Kind of interesting that these screws are copper colored, but now we should be able to just give this a yank. Come on. Come on. At this point, I almost wish I would have just paid them like the $20 to put one of these in. I don't know what they charge, but it is a huge pain to get this piece out. You have to pull so hard to get those tabs to release. Well, we got it out, and now let's see how bad it is, because I know they didn't look at this. It's a nightmare to get it out. It's slightly dusty. Slightly dusty. Airflow direction is down. Make sure that arrow points down. I wouldn't say that's very dirty at all, but that is not a charcoal filter, so we're putting back a better filter. Our filter should just slide back in there, push it all the way back until it stops, And then, let's see, it needs to sit down because this thing has a little ridge that holds the top of the filter down there. So push it down in its housing and then pop on the cover right there. That's it, no big deal. The cover snapped right back on. The one thing you do have to do if you're gonna pull the airbag switch, which make sure it's reconnected before the ignition goes on or it will set your SRS light. The airbag computer gets very mad if that switch or anything important is missing. Ooh, we got some dust on there. I don't know how we got any dust in the glove box I don't use. But then you're gonna reconnect that. They didn't leave you any extra wire. So pop that in, lock it back in, hook the glove box light back up like that. Pop this back in, and you'll get a couple nice snaps as it goes back in. The glove box slides right back up into position. There's two little tabs that you push on, and it'll go in just like that. Put the screws in that trim piece back in and it's all wrapped up. And now it's time for the final piece of our puzzle here. Why I thought the engine was gonna blow up, because it's an off rhythm ticking that does sound like a typewriter, and it is absolutely terrible. It sounds horrific. It sounds like this engine is toast, but apparently it's not. So they took this out with their service manager, drove it around, got it up to temp, sent me a video of the problem, and they were like, is this it? And I was like, that's absolutely it. So they found it, and then they said, found SSM 51251 applied, tested powertrain, no DTCs, so no trouble lights or check engine light, anything like that. Inspected fluids and condition, okay. Obviously the oil is brand new. The oil's about a week old. And noise diag, no abnormal noise found, hot or cold. Extended road test done, verified only normal engine noise NPF. Well, it's not quite true. It is SSM 51251. And I'll put a link to that in the description below so you can check it out if you want, but I'm gonna read it to you right now. 2011 to 2022 Ford Super Duty 6.7 diesel tic tap and or typewriter noise at idle. Some 11 to 22 Super Duty vehicles, you gotta pare this down because F Super Duty sounds really weird. Equipped with 6.7 diesel engine may exhibit a ticking noise at idle after an engine oil change. It is often referred to as the typewriter noise because of its similarity to the sound of a mechanical typewriter, and it does kind of sound like that. When the engine's temp reaches 150 Fahrenheit or higher, which is true, it can't be cold, and from engine idle up to 1700 RPMs, the noise can typically be heard at the front wheel well and is often isolated to the transmission bell housing or oil pan area. Typewriter noise is not detrimental to engine function or durability and has no short or long-term effects on the engine. Do not attempt repairs to eliminate this noise. This noise is characteristic of the 6.7 diesel engine and will typically cease or diminish significantly within the oil change maintenance interval. Look, all well and good. That description, I'd say, lines up about exactly with what's going on with this, about 100%, right? But it's never done it before, and it's on like its fifth oil change, something like that. So why has it never happened before? And why is it characteristic of the Powerstroke? And I will say my 18 did that, and a lot of diesel shops thought something was wrong with it, but it never had a single issue. So the day I bought it, I was like, this sounds bad. And it just wasn't like this though. It wasn't nearly as pronounced. It did have a tick that we always thought was something that might break in the future, but it had a warranty and I was never worried about it. In fact, we talked about it in the very first video with the 18. So I figured if anything went wrong with that, good. You know, the more things that go wrong, the better. If this one, I worry a little bit because I don't have that extended warranty covering it to 125,000 miles. And it covered way more than just the engine warranty on this. So with that said, that is apparently the ticking noise. It's well known, and they were like, it's fine, just deal with it and it'll go away. And I guess we'll find out. Since it's a big deal to get this cabin air filter out and there's no way you could do it in the service lane as like a quick thing, you're not gonna have your techs tear the dash apart to look at a filter that may or may not need changed or anything like that, and it takes, what, 15 minutes? I wonder if it checks airflow across the filter. Like maybe it has a little manometer that has like a before, pre and post filter airflow, and it looks for a restriction in that and tells them that it needs changed. I don't know, that's really the only way. It's either they guess, they base it on mileage, or there's real data, and if there's real data, I'd be super surprised. But anyway, now it's got everything they recommended. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts like the one I'm wearing under this hoodie. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. All right, well, huge shout out to Mel Hamilton Ford for taking care of this thing. I figured it was going to blow up any minute now, and They said it's just fine. So F-250 is back on trailer duty, and it wasn't gone for that long. So it was all free. I didn't pay them anything, and obviously we spent about 20 bucks on an air filter at O'Reilly's, and we got everything sorted.